you that you're comfortably seated. And for those of you who have been regulars, you know the setup drill, the suggestion that you do be seated rather than lying down, both to encourage engagement, obviously not falling asleep, that you take full benefit from the time, but also it's going to allow us to start to think about integration, to maintain the posture we have when we're walking and moving around as well, which is upright, comfortable but attentive for the meditation. And also you can explore having the eyes open, again, natural way, the way it is as you walk and move around. So not strained, but still the feeling that you're very engaged, very awake. So that's our warm-up, our foundation. We'll get into it. So for any of you who have been training for an athletic endeavor or the arts, or perhaps you're self-employed, sometimes retired is the case, you're already used to creating structure in your day, that mastering of self-directedness, being able to discipline and direct what you're doing. And this really seems relevant at this time. We wake up in the morning and we have the whole day in front of us. What will we do with it? And this capacity to be able to direct the self, to have a purposeful day, if you will, depends a lot on what's going on outside. However, we have tended to attach it to things that are out of our control, and we realize at these moments it's got to be connected to what's going on inside. I need to internally be driven. Whether it's the structured work, or some say they miss the social interaction, and quite frankly, nothing's really changed. You can still socially interact, it's just a different way of doing it. You can still have good wishes for others, pure feelings. So how to create that internal enthusiasm and not have it depend on things outside, not even the weather. So it depends a lot on feeling a sense of value inside, that there's something valuable to take care of. And then you start to create a program and honor that program. And so we're going to just focus on that little flame of the self inside, which is shown in the image of angels, those luminous beings, the little flame of the self, and how to really encourage that sense of self and not have it dampen or dim due to things outside, whether or not they're present. Sitting comfortably, I start to take my attention more and more towards the self. Less and less on what I see through the eyes or hear through the ears, and more drawing the energy of my attention back towards the self. Becoming acutely aware of my own presence, that I am sitting here in this space at this time. A very simple awareness for the mind. The mind can be pulled outside by pressure of time or pressure to act, but just for the moment, see if you can keep the attention of the mind, as we say, indoors. Bringing it indoors, inside the self. And keep concentrating the focus until it begins to rest completely on that place behind the forehead where the activity of the mind is happening. What we've called our inner meditation room inside our head. Turning our vision inside and through our mind's eye, seeing that inner meditation space. It's not made of physical things. That space is made of thoughts and qualities. A simple space in the mind, a sacred space with an atmosphere that's calm, patient, quiet, free of day-to-day thoughts, free of even ordinary thoughts. And very often, traditionally, in meditation spaces, there'd be a single candle to support the sense of focus. But as I sit here, I'm going to imagine becoming so free of worldly thoughts that even speculating on the idea of being free of my physical form, to not think of myself as the roles, but also not even to attach my sense of self to this body as if it's a costume I wear. I am the thinker inside, and in my inner meditation space, I am that tiny little flame, that spark of life inside. Experiencing that through my mind's eye, a living spark of light, a tiny flame. Not any ordinary spark. I'm living. And so I don't just radiate light, I radiate qualities. The feeling that we get from the sun, radiating light, but radiating so much that sustains life. I too am this tiny source of light, radiating qualities that sustain my own life. And when I start to dim, I might look outside for that sustenance in quantity rather than quality, in the physical rather than the non-physical. But my life is only of quality when it's sustained by qualities. Me, this tiny point of light, what qualities do I radiate that give me a sense of purpose in my own life? A sense of quality of life. thinking about the qualities that are most important to me, and the qualities that perhaps are most important to everyone. To be peaceful or respectful, to be loving or kind, to be truthful or trustworthy, to be powerful or benevolent, to be balanced or harmonious, to be pure-hearted or generous. Imagining all these qualities are packed, concentrated inside of me, this tiny spark of life. I sit in my inner meditation space and feel the warmth of my own being. And starting to feel a sense of peace with the self. When the outer world starts to become uncertain, drift away from what I've considered normal or structured, I start to feel anxious. But when I turn inwards and reconnect with myself as this tiny spark of life, this source of qualities, I start to feel grounded again, calm. And how can I bring these qualities to life through the day? A new normal to my day, which doesn't depend on the outer world, but is structured around my inner world, a program that nourishes this tiny flame that is me, where I look at how I think, how I see, how I speak, the deeds I perform and the attitudes I hold. Are they all aligned with the qualities of the self? A new normal, a different structure, a very personal program and purpose as I go into the day. It will require going inwards often to remind myself of who I am, these qualities, and the importance to me of expressing them in the day. By keeping the light of the self central in my focus, taking care of it, I will start to feel light. And whereas there's light, there's less confusion, disorientation, anxiety, stumbling around. Being very directed as I move through the day to honor the light, the qualities that are me. And even the most simple, ordinary tasks, not losing the lightness of the self. And suddenly noticing, even if the weather turns gray, I somehow have become my own source of sunlight. Still enthusiastic, still taking care of the self. The new normal is to live from the inside out. Om Shanti. Wishing you an extremely light day. And I do hope that you respect all these wonderful qualities within the self and do take care of them. Until we meet again online, it's been a pleasure and I wish you a lovely day. Om Shanti.